Hi everyone, this is Dikshit. Welcome to my channel. In this particular video, I'll be talking about built-in objects in Helm 3. So in my previous video, I've spoken about Helm 3 commands. Please do have a look into that. I'll leave a link in description. So coming to this video, so as I said, I'll be discussing about built-in objects in Helm. So before that, we will see what is object. So object is a combination of data and procedures working on the available data. Okay. So an object as a state or a behavior, the state of an object is stored in the fields, basically a variable, a key value, a pair of that kind of manner it will be stored. And so while coming to methods, so those are basically a functions, so which basically gives the behavior of your object. Okay, so in Helm, so the objects are passed onto the templates folder. So basically whatever I mentioned template, right? So this is a folder from the template engine whenever you run Helm commands like install, upgrade, or rollback. Okay, and your code can pass objects in and around, and there are even few ways to create a new objects within your templates, so like with the tuple functions. And so I'm going to discuss about all these things the later videos. Okay, so I do have a plan like making a videos on those things also. Okay, and so coming to built-in objects, so the first built-in objects that we will gonna discuss is release built-in object. Okay, so release built-in object is basically this object describes the release itself, and it has several objects basically. Okay, the first one is release.name. So release.name is basically a release name. Basically, it'll hold a release name. Okay, so as I mentioned, so release.name will have the name of release itself. So let's see with the example. Okay. So now, so this is the basic chart, like by using Helm create chart name. So this particular Helm chart has been created. So that's what, like before coming to this video now, so please watch the previous videos. So there I've explained a brief about each file, so that like if you watch once that one, so you can have a better idea about this built-in objects. Okay, I'll recommend watch that how to create a Helm charts, first Helm chart on my playlist, so that it helps you to understand this built-in objects. Okay, and so as you can see, so underscore helpers.tmpl, so wherein I've declared my functions, right? So as you can see, so I've used somewhere like release.name, right? So whenever I use this particular value, so basically whatever the release, so let me go to my Helm console. So Helm, so I have already a chart, okay, which has been created by using the command Helm create, and the folder name I'll just given as test. Okay, so now, so let me install that one. Okay, so I'll just do a dry run. Okay, install, and then you need to give the name Helm 3. You need to supply your release name, or else you can use hyphen generate hyphen name. Okay, I'm just giving it as my app, and then I need to do a dry run, right? So I need to use hyphen debug, and then I need to use dry hyphen run, and then I need to give the charts folder. Okay, so this is how we will do a dry run. So as you can see, so let me take this one as an example. Okay, so my app test. So as you can see in deployment.yaml, I've used something under metadata. There is a name. So I've used include my chart dot full name. So include is basically to call the function my chart dot full name, which is declared in helpers.tmpl. So let me copy this particular function name. Okay, I'll search it in underscore helpers.tmpl. So if I go to underscore helpers.tmpl, so this is a function that I'm calling there. So if you see here, so this conditions and all, I'll gonna explain it later. So it is just checking the value start YML. If this value is defined, so then it will gonna execute this one. So if not, then it will gonna come here and it will execute this part. Okay. So what it is doing, so as you can see, so I mean, if it is not defined there, so then I'll come to here and I'm taking some chart value. Basically, I'm just taking chart name. And then so if it like basically, so here if you see this statement is executing currently in my case because I have not defined in values.yml. Okay, so as you can see here, release.name and then a name is supplied to printf. So that means, so release name slash and then my so whatever the value is stored in dollar name will be printed. As you can see here, so under the name my app, so while running my release, I've given my app as my release name. So that has been, as you can see, so it has been taken in this one, my app slash test. Okay, so this is how you basically use your built-in objects in your templates, and you can call wherever you need. Okay, so as this is a repeated code for all the objects, so I've used in a helpers.tml. So even then you can deploy it. You can use here also. Okay, see there is a built-in objects dot charts dot name. So this is basically charts related information. Okay, so I'll come to this particular object also. So let's discuss now about this one. Okay, so basically release dot name, which will have release name, and the next one is release dot namespace. So so this particular object will have the namespace that your chart has been deployed. In my case, if I don't, if anything, if nothing is deployed mentioned in charts, so basically it will consider wherever you are executing that particular Helm commands, right? So that will consider that namespace I wanted to deploy. Okay, or else you can give -hyphen namespace and then you can supply the value. So this particular object will basically have the namespace on which like your object is deployed. So basically release is deployed. Okay, the next one is release dot is upgrade. So this particular object is set to true. So basically, where if the current operation is upgrade or a rollback. Okay, so you might have I mean, few files or few things like you might change to the upgrade and for the install or something like that. So then you can take this particular value. So if it is true, so do those things based on if it is upgrade. Okay, so I mean, I'm just telling simple use cases like so where it can be useful. Okay, so then release dot is installed. So this value is set for true if the current operation is installed, helm install. Okay, so then the next one is release dot revision. So if you want to use this revision number for some cases, like if you want to this revision number in your metadata, so it's like you'll easily get to know like which revision is deployed. So in that cases, you can use release dot revision. So basically, this particular release dot revision, so we'll have the revision number. Okay, so on install, this is one basically first time when you're creating a release, so the revision number will be one. So and it will be incremented for each upgrade or a rollback. So when you do rollback or upgrade, so obviously your revision number will be incremented, right? So basically, in a layman terms, like release dot revision will have the revision number. Okay, and release dot service. So this is basically, I mean, has a value. So the service that is rendering present template means which service is rendering your template. So that service name will be there. So as we are doing it on Helm, so this is always set to Helm itself. Okay. So the next built-in object is charts. So basically, the content of the charts.yml and any data in charts.yml will be accessible here. So by using this particular object, so whatever we have defined in charts.yml, we will be able to access it. Okay. So first, let me go to my sample chart. So as you can see in, so again, I'll go to helpers.tml. So as you can see, so I've used chart.name. So let me open in parallel. So this is the one like chart.yml. As you can see, so I've given all the, I mean, so these are the mandatory fields so that I've given all the values. So if you want to access this particular name, so then to access that particular name is like this way, chart.name. Basically, this particular name will come here and then it will be replaced when it is like generates a Kubernetes manifest files. Okay, If you want to use version, so this particular version, so then it is like chart dot version. Okay, so this is so whatever which is declared in chat.yml, so you can basically access in your templates by using dot charts object. Okay, and so this I've pulled it out from official Helm document. So these are all the allowed tags that you can have it in your chats.yml. Okay, so basically whatever you have defined in chat.yml, if you want to access it in templates folder, so then you need to use a charts object. Okay, and the next one is files object. Okay, so sometimes like let's say some configurations you can't directly give it in your templates folder. Okay, so templates folders is basically you have there where you have every file which has some meaning. Okay, so it can be a YML files, or it can be underscore helpers.tmpl, so which has the functions, and notes.txt, so which has basically a release notes. So whenever you do an install or upgrade, so whatever there in this one, so will be I mean like displayed actually for you. So all these things like so which has special meaning. Okay, so something like if you have defined so some files, so let's say for example, so in my case, so I have a config map. Okay, so config maps file, so which is very big. So it is not mandatory that like define it here. So define it in config.yml directly. Okay, let's say if I want to change something, so then I need to come to this config.xml and then I need to change it. So rather than that, what I can do is I can so under my charts folder, basically I can have a I mean it's just like I'm just defined my conf. So in real time projects, so it will be a big configuration, like basically configurations if you're copying to your pod. So basically it will be a little bigger files only. Okay, so in that case, so if let's say multiple configurations are there, so it is bad idea to put everything in manually in config maps. So what I'll be doing, so I'll be putting in charts that uh, under charts folder in the templates folder. So if I go to config.yml, let me open here. So when I open this one here, as you can see, so I mean I've referred from this particular object. So basically this files object, this provides access to all non-special files in a chart. Okay, so, and also, while you can't, I mean, by using this particular object, you can't access the files which are there in the templates folder. Okay, and you can use it to basically it is used to access other files which are there in the charts. Okay, so this is a simple example I've taken. So see, this is the config map. So I want to take the data, so which is there in the conf.ini, and put it into this place. Okay, so this is wrong. I need to do indent 6 or whatever the indentation. So I mean, I just want to show like how we can call this particular non templates folder file basically. So onto my templates folder. So this is how we will do it. So it has basically everything, whatever files object has the functions only. It doesn't have any I mean objects basically. So it is all of functions only. The first function is files.get. So files.get, and if you supply the file name, so it basically get you content of the file by using file name. Okay, you need to supply the file name when you're accessing like this. So dot files dot get, and you need to give the file name. So then it will get you the content of this. Okay, so the next one is files get bytes. So this is basically one of the object wherein it is very useful when you're dealing with images. Okay, so this function so basically gives the content of a file in an array of bytes. Okay, so when it is not sent as a I mean like basically files.get will give you the string in a string manner, but files.get bytes will give you in a bytes array of bytes. Okay, the next one is files.globe. So this function returns the list of files which matches file patterns. Okay, so let's say if you want to, if you have 10 configuration files, so whichever matches with the extension ini, I need to have in a particular config map. So then you can have this particular one, and then you can loop it, and then you can insert it. So this is how, like, it's basically returns the file name which matters with a particular pattern. Okay. And the next one is files dot lines. So basically it will iterate through each line of a file. So whenever, if in case of, like, if you want to iterate over a line by line in a file, so then you can go ahead and you can use this particular function in files object. And the next one is files dot access secrets. So this particular one, so if you want to encode basically base 64, so whatever the file name you specify, it will be base 64 encoded, and then it will be sent to you. Okay. So files dot as a config. So this particular function is basically returns the file bodies as a YML map. Okay. So this is about files object. So the next one is values object. So values object is basically, I mean, the regular one we're gonna use in Helm. So values passed into a template from values.yml from the user supplied files, and from user supplied files. So by default, it is values is empty. So whatever you define it here, so in values.yml, so basically this values will be taken into, if you go like, let me open deployment file here and values.yml here. So if you want to take any values, so this is how, like, dot value and pod annotations. So it should be declared here actually. So I mean, it doesn't have anything now. So if you want to refer this value, so then this is how, dot values dot pod annotation. Okay. So this is one of the, like, normally used object, values, not values. Okay. So by which we can access whatever we have declared in values.yml. Okay. So this is about values object, and you can define whatever the I mean tags you need. So this is not like restricted by Helm or something. Like, if you want, like, something tags like secrets, and then under this you need to define something like secret one, you can do this. Like, you can define whatever the tag. So if you want to access this one, dot values dot secret and dot secret one for this particular. So if you see here, so let me show you the image how they have accessed. So if you see, there is, yeah, so values dot images dot repository. So if you want to access this repository, then values object, under that we have image, under that again I need to specify repository. Okay. So this is how you'll refer your values.yml in the templates. And the next one is capabilities. So capabilities is, I guess, which is, I mean, in Helm 3 there is a little change. So whenever you run Helm command, so these uh, objects are there, I guess, in Helm 3. So because in the release notes, I've read somewhere, like, which is a new change in Helm 3. Okay. And so this provides information about what capabilities that your Kubernetes cluster supports. So, and also it has a few objects. So capabilities dot API is like a set of versions. Like, so it has many core versions, right? Like V1 apps and extensions and beta. All the those things will be returned from this particular object. Okay. And capabilities API versions dot as, and if you supply the version, basically it can be a v1 or it can be apps/v1. So when you supply that one, it will just make sure whether it is there in your Kubernetes cluster or not. It returns like whether it is there or not. It's there or not. So then if it is there, like in some situations, like so let's say you have some Kubernetes cluster. So one runs an pretty old Kubernetes version, and one cluster is basically, which is very new. So then you definitely want these kind of objects wherein you can see those versions are there or not. Then you can take upon the actions. Okay. So then kube version. So this is basically gives the Kubernetes version, what Kubernetes version is installed, and capabilities.q version major, so which gives a major version of Kubernetes, and then capabilities.q version.minor. This gives the minor version of the Kubernetes. Okay, and the next one is templates. So if you want to use, the information about current template itself, then then you can use this particular object. So I don't have any examples in this slide to show, but basically we can use template objects. So by which we will be able to access few things. One is name, so which is basically a name of a particular named file in the template, and the next one is base path. So what is the base path of your template? So that value is given in this base path. Okay. So very rarely used this one. So it depends. Like if you have a requirement, then you need to definitely use this one. And basically the main built-in objects we will gonna use as chart and release and the value stored diagram. So values object. See, these are the three main built-in objects that will gonna I've seen in my cases. So yeah, it depends on the requirement. If you want to use any other objects, you can go ahead and you can definitely use that. Okay. So that's all for this video. So thank you. If you have liked the video, please share and subscribe. Thank you. Have a good day.